Chantel Moore was an Indigenous Canadian woman born in 1994 who lost her life on June 4, 2020 in Edmundston, Brunswick. She was shot once in the leg, twice in the chest, and once in the abdomen by Constable Jeremy Sun.
After Jonathan Burnett, Chantel's ex, talked to Sun about Chantel's safety, he decided to check up on her, but later he proceeded to talk to Chantel's mom and ex. He no longer thought the call was urgent.
Burnett told Sun that Moore would sometimes send him inappropriate messages when she was drinking, but that night's messages were described as bizarre and worrisome.
When Sun got to the apartment, he let dispatch know where he was, but he didn't put on his lights or sirens, so his dash cam was not activated. Sun walked to the apartment and peered through the window. He saw Moore laying on the couch with the TV on. Her phone was on the table receiving notifications. He knocked on the window several times, but she appeared to still be sleeping.
He kept knocking on the window until she woke up. When she woke up, she was calm and walked over to the kitchen and grabbed a knife. She made her way to the door slowly, opened it while clenching the knife. Sun told her repeatedly to drop the knife, but she didn't and kept walking toward him.
They were 2 meters apart, and Sun brandished his gun and fired 4 quick shots, and she immediately dropped to the ground. After she fell, Sun could see the blood pooling out of her onto the balcony floor.
About 30 seconds earlier, Sergeant Mark Bouchard arrived on the scene and advised the police station what happened, then called for an ambulance. A few minutes later, Moore's eyes were fixed and she had no pulse. Bouchard took his weapon and told Sun to go downstairs and wait in the patrol car.
Sun was armed with pepper spray and a baton. He did not have a taser on him. The word police was very clear on his equipment he had on that morning. Due to lack of taser supply, he was not able to use the proper form of action to handle the situation responsibly. Although Sun thinks otherwise, he said it wouldn't have made a difference and still would have used the gun.
Now in that police department, there are always 4 working tasers. In response to the jury, Sun said he was trained that there is no prescribed numbers of times to fire his weapon. It is determined on the spot by the situation.
Investigator Dennis Desjardins testified that he went to Moore's apartment and he noticed it was a homicide. While Moore's body was being moved, Desjardins said he observed the gunshot wounds from the 4 shots. An investigator from the RCMP noticed a piece of cardboard on the balcony. It was moved and a steak knife was found underneath.
Following the testimony day, Moore's mother said, "We've had enough, we want change." This statement connects to brother. As we know, Francis gets shot and there was a lot of complicated grief to go along with that. Both of these families have had to deal with that complicated grief due to a problem that needs to be changed. Police can't just shoot people because they're a different race or culture.
Another connection to brother is policing. Chantel Moore's death was a murder case, and Sun did get charged for murder. In brother, Francis and Michael had to deal with a lot of bad policing while trying to live a normal teenage life. For example, when Michael and Francis were treated like criminals at the shooting even though they didn't do anything. Police in both situations were absurd and should not have shot.
The third connection to brother is racism. And brother Michael faces a lot of racism at work with Mandy. However, Chantel still faces racism, but in a different way. Moore is an Indigenous person in Canada, and 36% of people shot by RCMP officers over the past 10 years were Indigenous.
Although Sun said the shots were fired out of self-defense, was that really the case? No. He had no right to shoot that innocent adult in her own home. All he cared about was that she was holding a knife, but she was protecting herself, but didn't know what was going on or that the police had been called to do a wellness check. So Chantel Moore should have justice.